Hello and welcome to Focus Westerville. I'm your host, John Buckles. For more than 150 years, the Westerville Division of Fire has provided professional, innovative, and cost-effective services to the city, Blendon Township, and the region. And as our community is growing and the world is changing, so is the face of the fire department. But the quality we have come to rely upon has not diminished. On this edition of Focus Westerville, we'll see the Westerville Division of Fire operate with excellence as they educate, respond, and train for fire, medical, and even environmental emergencies.
Our mission is to keep the city safe, to reduce loss of life and property in the city.
I don't think there is any nobler profession than being a firefighter. We're not in it for the money. We're there because we want to help people.
All my growing years, all my teenage years at firehouses, 2-3 generations of firefighter taught me the only reason you have a job is for the people you serve.
Talk to my family and they'll tell you, the whole time Brian was growing up, that's all he ever wanted to do was be a firefighter. I was fortunate when I was 15, I got in the Explorer program here. It really opened me up to Westerville. We're actually 156 years old this year. We started with one firehouse, which was principally volunteer. It's been amazing to see how the fire department's grown.
When I came into Westerville, we were at the old Blendon Township station, which is now the Blendon Police Department. That was Station 112. It was cramped quarters. It was just a tough living arrangement.
When we came in, Polaris Parkway didn't exist. County Line Road stopped at State Street. We've seen great growth in the city and in the township. I've known Chief Miller since he got hired. I was hired just before him. I used to joke with him, when you're fire chief, what are you going to do different?
He was driving and smelled smoke. He actually singed his eyebrows and stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because he said he smelled smoke, opened the hood, and flames came out, closed it, and called us.
Okay. They got the fire extinguished. This is just another example of one of the types of calls that we respond to. Car fires, auto accidents. We'll see you later.
See you, Chief. Thanks.
Over the last 40 years, we've grown quite a bit. It's a changing face in the fire service. We're really an all-hazard response organization. EMS calls, rescue calls, auto accidents. We do ice rescue. We've even branched out into hazardous material response. All these different helmets, hats, uniforms that we wear.
We now try to look at what are the likely events to occur, whether it be natural disasters, man-made disasters. Our world has changed quite a bit since September 11th, and being a firefighter, that's not lost on us.
What we have noticed is between 2008 and 2014, we've had about a 12% increase in our EMS calls.
And I don't think that's going to change much. The city and the township are still growing. EMS has become such a focus because of our numbers. You can't even work here part-time anymore unless you're a paramedic.
Just from the training standpoint, through St. Anne's, they're good at hosting a lot of different trainings to keep everybody spun up.
We average a 4-minute or less response time to all emergencies. Lots of advances in technology. We carry a lot of equipment to determine what the heart's doing, check blood pressure, vital signs, devices which do CPR compressions on patients. This machine can stay on and continue to do CPR all the way through.
We're always going to be the first responders. Us and the police will be there first. So we have to prepare ourselves through training and education to look into the future of what the needs are of our community.
As our community's grown, the fire department's grown with it. Currently, we run out of 3 stations here in Westerville, and we also cover the community of Blendon Township. One thing we really like is when parents bring the kids to the firehouse. And now we have second and sometimes even third generations coming through.
We talk about stop, drop, and roll, or what to do if in a smoky house. We're always out there promoting that and getting them to know what we're doing.
I'm now doing the puppet shows for fire safety. Being a public educator, I get to interact with adults and kids. I'm working with the older community as well. Hey Richard, long time no see.
So, you're here for the inspection? Hopefully nothing's wrong, working together, making sure that everything's safe for all of our people here.
We think about fire safety every day because it's our jobs. Most people don't. It's only through interacting with each other and getting that information out that we all learn.
When you think of a university such as Otterbein, we have a lot of different hazards on our campus. Scientific laboratories, equine facilities, an art department that does welding. The fact that we haven't had a fire on campus, that's definitely attributed to them coming on campus and working directly with our students.
There's been a few times at universities I've worked at before, we've actually had students pass away because of something as simple as a smoke detector. These little things that seem insignificant in our daily lives, that's what they're catching at the Westerville Fire Department because it's their focus.
Effective April 1st of 2016, we'll be in ISO Class 2. And that's what a lot of the insurance underwriters use to determine how much you pay for your fire insurance. We take a lot of pride in that because we're in the top 2% of fire departments in the United States. There's only us and one other department in Central Ohio that have that rating. Our last levy was in 2010, and due to circumstances beyond our control, the levy didn't bring in quite the amount of dollars that we had projected it would. So we deferred a lot of capital expenses. We refurbished a lot of our fire trucks and medic and squad vehicles instead of purchasing new. We've done a lot of things, to kind of tighten the belt and get us through times. We do have a fire levy coming up for $2.8 million. We put a lot of time and effort into determining how much money we would need to continue our operations and the quality and levels of service.
The city of Westerville and Blendon Township continue to grow. And because of that, the amount of work we do is going to continue to grow. There's more businesses in the city, there's more new buildings in the city.
Just over the past few years, we've seen just an explosion of new construction.
We're projecting that our EMS run volume will grow as well, so we are starting to put some things in place to address that need and make sure we're still there to serve our citizens.
Citywide fire prevention and medical response education has become a pillar of the fire department's operation. Strategic partnerships with schools, civic organizations, and local businesses are a must. The Westerville Fire Department knows that the thousands of hours they invest in these relationships each year ultimately result in a safer and more prepared community.
Working for Westerville has a different aura. They're very cognizant about community relations. They had a reputation before I came here, very involved with the public.
We work with a lot of our businesses for disaster preparedness, fire prevention programs with the Westerville City Schools. Everybody's aware of Otterbein University right here in Westerville. Otterbein students at one time helped staff our fire department well into about the 1960s. Every time new freshman classes come in, we work with the RAs about fire safety. For a lot of these students, it's their first time away from home.
We have students on campus that add a whole nother level of different hazards because we never know what the students are going to do in their dorms and residence areas behind closed doors.
Mom and dad, grandma, grandpa, whoever else was living in the house or whatever with them, usually would take care of a lot of things and do those little checks that you don't think of, such as testing a smoke alarm. Every once in a while, you should take the lint and everything out of the dryer. It seems weird, but we've got to start with step one and really looking at what do you need to do to live by yourself. Each time that we have a student who removes a smoke detector so that they can smoke inside the room, yeah, that seems like a small thing, but what if then they go to sleep and that cigarette isn't out? Not only are you risking yourself, but you're risking the lives of hundreds of other people. Working on new initiatives with Tara Grove, our environmental health and safety officer, to really get why fire safety is actually important.
As a science major, we deal with a lot of chemicals that are hazardous, and students should know how to put out fires if they happen.
The Westerville Fire Department will come to campus several times a year doing various types of training sessions such as CPR sessions, general fire safety with our Res Life and Greek Life. The program also has an annual Campus Fire Safety Day. They get to go through a smoke simulated area which mimics if they were trapped in an area and it was completely filled with smoke.
And the things that they've even taught me is I've thought that I knew it all. I'm not even close. New things that I'm learning and new things I can relay to our students that's helping them not only for now, but then also in their future when they start to have their own houses, their own homes.
When I think about Otterbine's partnership with the Westerville Fire Department, I think we've really built a fortified trust and a common goal. We reach that goal by offering each other very specialized training.
We have a really active equestrian team and equine science program here. It's very important that our relationship with the fire department is open and active and that we feel very comfortable with one another. They are our first responders. So you're going to make sure that the horse is facing you and you're going to want to walk to the horse's side. Yep. Yep. Training days are a chance to bring the fire department out here so that they can learn how to put a halter on if need be, understand the horse's reaction to their attire. They won't come out of the stall on their own. They're flight animals, so they're going to be fearful of coming out.
Can't guide them out with food or anything?
No. I mean, I could guide him out with food all day long right now, but not in a state of emergency, no. The goal would be to evacuate as many horses as possible and to get them into our far pastures. These 52 horses are not only very valuable, but also they are very much part of our family.
This one's different because we're dealing with live animals. It's not something we do every day. When we're working with tools and equipment, they have kill switches. Horses don't, and they have a mind of their own. So you don't know what you're getting into when you're dealing with them. I'm surprised that if the place is filled with smoke, they'll just stay in their stall.
We would evacuate the building, and that would be the hardest part for me, is to know that we are kind of leaving the horses up to their capable hands, and that's why it's important this training is a two-way street, if you will.
Some of the other programs that we work on here in Westerville and Blendon Township is we work with a lot of our businesses on creating safety teams. Emerson has been a community partner. Their emergency response team can respond to minor medical emergencies all the way up to somebody that's having a heart attack.
When I joined the company 6 years ago, one of my first projects that I was focused on was improving our emergency response plan and team. So in leading that, I immediately reached out to Westerville Fire Department. So we've been working with them. They come at least twice a year to help us with our medical and fire drills.
You all right?
I don't know, it's getting hard to breathe. It's like it's getting tight.
Let's send a notice out and get some help, all right?
We're currently launching our mass notification system. Administrators can activate our medical emergency response from their cell phone or their computer. Every member is trained in CPR, first aid, and how to use an AED. We always send somebody to meet the paramedics at the door, so it's easier for them to get up here. At the end of every drill or event, we will do a debrief. So we sit down with the Westerville Fire Department and anybody that was involved in it, and we talk about what went well and what we can do to improve.
It really helps us out a lot when you have somebody waiting for us at the door that can bring us, especially in buildings as large as these. I know we had an incident here a few months ago, and when I pulled up, stress was just taken away because I saw everybody outside, and people were reporting to me immediately. We know everybody's out of the building. We know where the emergency's at.
It's been excellent working with Westerville Fire Department. They're amazing. They're great coaches and great teachers. They really give us some clear guidance.
Our goal in fire prevention in the city of Westerville and Blendon Township is, we want a fire-safe community.
If there is an emergency, they can get in and they can get in there quickly and safely.
Every time I've reached out to them for assistance, no matter how busy they were, they always make time to step up, come to campus, and help us with anything they can. I always consider them a part of my safety team. They're always listening and they are always willing to help.
In a prospering city like ours, it's no small task to ensure that fire code standards are met in hundreds of new and existing commercial and public buildings. 4 members of the division are dedicated to the increasing number of annual fire prevention inspections. Even with the city's growth, the fire department has an ambitious goal to get into every structure every year.
Fire code and building code has really become an important part of what we do. As the city continues to grow, we'll be doing more inspections. It's very important that we get things right at that stage.
The Fire Prevention Bureau does mostly commercial fire inspections. We do about 1,800 of those a year. My directive from the chief is that 100% of every commercial structure in the city will be inspected. I think some people rest somewhere in the 50 to 75%. This year we hit 99.5%. Fire inspection starts by looking at the outside of a building. You make sure the exit doors are clear, storage isn't up against the building. And the next step is just walk inside, introduce ourselves. Always put people at ease. Shake their hand, look them solid in the eye. Rated door is good. Start at the top and work my way down, making sure the structure's intact. Rated doors and exit doors, they close on their own. We'll just go ahead and let the fire door close, make sure it latches. We're really looking for just major problems.
I'm Kent Behrman. I'm the facilities director here at Mount Carmel St. Anne's. I'm in charge of all the utilities, the heating, the cooling, the lights, all that type of things. Fire safety is a huge aspect of our daily operations.
Okay, let's just make sure all the openings.
Our patients can't evacuate, so making sure we have fire barriers and everything's tested and working right. The fire department really helps us with that. We do an annual inspection where they'll walk through every inch of the hospital. We run into something every day. Being a hospital, it's 24/7. You're constantly going to have things going on.
You do have a trouble.
It looks like it's bed tower, shaft fan 81.
Hey Rich, it's Kent. Hey, we got 2 troubles on the panel. Dave's a great guy. Doing our fire marshal inspection, you spend a lot of time together. Learn a bunch, we can discuss code and really figure out what's the best for the building and for the safety of everybody here.
Hey Richard, long time no see.
Hi Kelly.
Hello. It's good to see you again. Are you staying healthy?
I am, how are you?
Oh, I'm fine, I'm fine.
Columbus Colony is one of our facilities here in Westerville. It's a community where a lot of the residents are deaf. We work with them on the importance of fire prevention safety.
It's a senior citizen home for the deaf that was established in 1896, and we've been growing ever since. There's probably about 345 people. The fire department sometimes comes to do physical inspections of our buildings and communicate in a great way with us. We're designed a little bit different than other apartments. Our fire alarms are visual. We have a red light that means that there's a fire. Every room has that. The buildings have changed and there's been a lot of updates in technology, so they come and they help us understand the rules and testing the systems, the batteries. A lot of times people start communication, then it fizzles out, but really they've kept up communication with us, and in my experience we've had a great relationship. We have our resident meetings sometimes, and our fire department comes and provides some information about evacuation plans, what to do in case of an emergency, and they make it a safe environment for our residents. Now I'm going to go ahead and introduce Jeff Lear. This is, I think, his 3rd time, so he's going to come here and give a little speech to you all.
Thank you. Hi friends. It's been a couple of months since I've seen you. One of the things that I had heard was that you're not really a part of the community until a person who is deaf gives you a sign name. So my sign name is actually Fireman Jeff Lear, and they use the L like the fire hose. When I go in to do my inspections, I run into business owners from all over the world. And so I actually took it upon myself a couple years ago to actually start learning different languages, at least enough to say hello, goodbye, thank you, that sort of thing.
It's really special when you realize you can make a difference and help a business stay open, get them safe. I can retire in 6 years and I'll stay another 20. That's my goal. That's my goal.
Did you know that every firefighter hired by the Westerville Fire Department has to be a certified paramedic? With so many people, cars, and buildings in Westerville, the demand for superior emergency medical response rises each year. The statistics begin to tell the story. Thousands of EMS runs every year, and an astounding response time of 4 minutes or less. As we'll see in this segment, behind those numbers are well-trained paramedics and highly effective processes and technology.
Medic run for engine and medic 111, 315, North Blendon Township.
Over the last 5 to 6 years, it's been a trend here in Central Ohio. Since 2008, we've had a 12% increase in our EMS calls. As business grows within the city, we have a lot of people that work here in Westerville. We're making plans now to address those needs.
I have been here at Mount Carmel St. Anne's for approximately 29 years, served as medical director for 25 years of that. Strokes, heart attacks, and other time-dependent processes. It's a big public health issue these days.
more people. There's more people in the older age group because of the advances in medicine. So we're going to be called upon more to take those folks into the hospital.
Right down the street is one of the Westerville Fire Department stations, and they could get to my office within a half a minute to a minute. It's really a comfort to us physicians. It's like when somebody's like crashing in front of your eyes, it's like you want to get them to the hospital as soon as you can. And minutes in this case could be so crucial between life and death.
The response time is excellent. As a matter of fact, there's a lot of times that they meet us on scene and they have the scene secured and waiting on us, and then they make sure that our officers are safe.
The big challenge is making things mobile.
We now have heart monitors that we can run what we call 12-lead EKGs. If somebody is having a heart attack or if they have a blockage in one of their vessels, we can identify that in the field and transmit it to the hospital.
And then they can start the ball rolling at the hospital. So by the time you arrive, the team's assembled, ready to treat the issue. Our transport time's 5-10 minutes at the most. So the more information they have before we even get in the vehicle and start rolling, the better off the patient's going to be.
As technology changes, the standard of care changes. The Lucas device, which was given to us by St. Anne's Hospital, has truly been a godsend in medicine.
It's doing effective compressions, recommended American Heart stuff, and there's nothing worse than trying to move somebody that's in arrest through a stairwell or down an elevator.
Back in the day, you're compressing. Studies have shown that as you tire out, your compression become less effective. But emotionally, you don't feel like you're tiring out.
Gaps in CPR really affect outcomes. This device does not allow for any gaps to occur. That thing just keeps pumping away.
Before I came here, Westerville was one of the departments when you talk about cutting-edge technology, sifting through some of the hokey things and the fads. There's the CPAP device, which forms positive pressure to help open your lungs up. They were one of the first people, in, if not the state, the county, to implement this. It's now the standard of care. The idea that they embrace that has improved the way we care for our community.
As a department, we're really good about training. Several times a month we have an educator come in to get everybody kind of spun up.
Today we're going to break out into 4 stations. The simulation is high fidelity. These mannequins, they breathe on their own if they're supposed to be breathing. If they're not breathing, then that tells you something. The goal is, instead of just kind of verbalizing what you would do, we want you to actually do it.
And you walk up to this guy and this is what you see.
Sir, are you okay? You get any response at all?
No, he just moans.
Do we have a story from any bystanders?
Yeah, somebody was standing next to him and they said they heard gunshots fired and then he went down.
He's actually breathing.
Is he really? Yeah. Fantastic.
A few years ago, we raised the bar and we only hire people that already have certification as a paramedic. Right now, a medic will go through an entire year of college-level work. They can start on the ground running right away.
Normal day at the firehouse, being on the medic, we usually take our call as soon as we hear those high-low tones. We're out the door as fast as we can. We're lucky enough to have 3 people on the medic, and each person is assigned to a position on the truck. I'm the lucky one today. I get to write the reports. Greg, he's driving the truck, and then Trevor, he's kind of our skills guy. All the gear that we need to take care of the patient we take in from the get-go. We really don't know until we see the patient firsthand. We obtained a quick set of vital signs on scene. We're following up on the vital signs and we're trying to obtain a thorough medical history. We got to kind of organize it, and it's a jumbled mess most times. Oftentimes it's helpful when the patients have this stuff written down. They can just pull it out of their wallet, out of their purse. Here you go.
EMS arrives, hopefully within 5 minutes is the goal. It sends us an EKG, and we can then determine if that person's having a heart attack or not.
If we decide that this is an urgent need to transport, we'll quickly get the patient into the truck and start our interventions.
Laura, since you're having chest pain, we're going to put you on our heart monitor. And Trevor over here is going to work on getting an IV access so we can give you some medication.
We initially assess, patient, can you rate your pain 0 to 10? Through our interventions, we can knock that pain down. Patient was at an 8, we knocked him down to a 3 by the time we got to the hospital.
In Westerville Medical 11, we're inbound with a 64-year-old female that does have a prior heart history.
By the time they get here, we will have cleared the cath table. We do a quick blow-by in the emergency department. They go straight to the cath lab.
Disconnect our equipment, transfer the patient to the hospital bed, and the hospital takes over care from there.
Partnership with this hospital, and as care continues to advance, it's a team effort. Beyond just a team in the fire department, it's a community thing. Yep. Another side you're going to see the fire departments merge into is EMS prevention. Like the fire prevention work, getting people good education so they take better care of themselves. They might not even need to access 911. We are one of the chief contactors of the public. You know, we're in people's homes every day, helping them.
It can be challenging for fire departments to maintain the skills and knowledge they have attained over the years. Then comes the necessity to learn new equipment, new techniques, new technology, and new situations that are increasingly present in a changing world. How does our Division of Fire stay ahead? Training, training, and more training.
Our background at the fire department, everybody thinks it's firefighting. But we also focus on the rescue side. Cars in the ponds, people stranded on buildings, people stuck in confined spaces. You're gonna have the kid that climbs up the top of the water tower that maybe doesn't know what's going on, and there's nobody else to call at that point, so they're gonna rely on us to get them down. I started out as a volunteer, got my paramedic, EMT, inspector card, a rescue tech background, fire instructor card. The times have changed and our training has increased due to that.
Today we're going to do a drill with the ladder. Focus on setting it up, proper orientation, and getting it up to the roof. And the guys are going to climb up it just like they would on a regular response.
We normally train probably about an hour and a half to 2 hours a day. Everybody's got a little something, a niche that they're good at, so we'll pull it out of each other and kind of train on that so we learn from each other. There's been case after case of firefighter fatalities, and we look at those and we sit there and go, why did this happen? How did it happen? How are we going to prevent it?
I've been with Westerville since '99, and it seems like there's a lot more technology on the truck, the safety measures, everything seems to be changing. I typically run that thing every morning, trying to set up and get into situations where it wouldn't normally be in.
We will run through those entire trucks from front to back every time we work. We make sure the pump works, the hose is all there, because there is runs that we go on 3, 4 o'clock in the morning that maybe a piece of hose got left out to be washed or dried and it didn't get loaded back on properly. This is something we work with every day. We have a claim to it. The engine rescue that we have, we kind of call it the big toolbox because it does carry every bit of what you'd have in a tool chest at your house. So a lot of times we're kind of looking in our toolbox going, oh, we can do this or we can't do that. We'll start off our morning checks by going through all the equipment, making sure everything's in here that we normally have, and we train with them to see how they work and make sure they run correctly. A lot of people don't know they don't work in smoke because the combustion engine won't run. So we have to make sure guys are proficient on that to know how these saws work. We're going to the next compartment. Inside here we carry all our water rescue equipment. In the wintertime, a dog even getting in the water. People are going to go out to get their dog out of the water, so we're going to go out and take care of it and get the dog out for them. If I don't go out and get them, somebody else is going to go out and fall in the water. But we're going to do it in the safest way. We're going to bring ropes with us. We're going to bring warm equipment with us so we don't freeze getting in the water. We only carry a few minutes of water on here, which is a lot of people go, oh, you carry all the water. We only really have about a minute's worth of water, and then we have to hook up to a fire hydrant. So as soon as we start opening our hoses up, we have to make sure we're right on that target we want to hit, and then we make sure that we supply it with a larger hose from a hydrant. So what we have here is our hydraulic rescue tools. The jaws of life is what a lot of people refer to it. What this does is we can actually put this underneath a car or inside a side of a door, and we can spread apart the metal, or we can lift it up. A lot of times we've had people that have been run over by a car or stuck under it, and the pressures with the pump will lift it up off the ground, making it a really quick rescue. And then the other one we have is the cutters. If you look at this, it looks like a big pair of scissors. So we can just use the tool the same way, and we can cut metal. So if we want to remove the roof all the way off the car, we can go around and just make cuts around there, and it takes the metal away from the car. People are calling us nowadays for anything and everything they need a response for. So we want to make sure we have the best equipment, the best tools, the best training. If something happens, everything you do reflects back on your training. If we get into a situation that maybe a floor collapses or my air unit stops working or something like that, I need to know that I can look at the guy next to me and know, okay, he's going to give me air, we're going to get each other out of here. You know, we want to make sure our citizens are protected, so we have the training and the ability here in Westerville to help out.
Hopefully on this edition of Focus Westerville, you've gained an even greater appreciation for the valuable services the Westerville Division of Fire provides. If you have any questions regarding the fire department, please visit the City of Westerville website at www.westerville.org or call the non-emergency fire number at 614-901-6600. And let's keep working together to help keep our community safe. I'm John Buckles, and we'll see you next time on Focus Westerville.